All right, yesterday, of course, the final day of the regular season. A lot of big games, a lot of playoff implications, and one of them was Buffalo against Miami. And Miami going in with 10 wins. If they had won, they would have been in. But not only did they not win, Rob Parker, they got smashed, destroyed by the Buffalo Bills, who look like a really good team at this point.
Oh, yeah. They are something. They put up a 56-piece with extra
56,
sauce.
Right about that. 56-26. And Tua Tagovailoa, he struggled. And, Rob, there are real questions that some people have about him. And we're going to do a tale of two quarterbacks and talk about both of them. So we have Miami.
And the future, right.
Miami going for a playoff berth. And then you had the New York Jets, who actually looked like they might win at one point. They started off pretty well in their game yesterday, but they lost. So they got 2 wins on the season. 2 of their last 3 games they won. And they blew it in winning 2 of their last 3. So now they don't have a shot at Trevor Lawrence unless Jacksonville shocks the world and doesn't draft him number 1. They've got Sam Darnold, and so the question for them will be, they look like they'll get the second pick. Yep. Do they could go for Justin Fields or another quarterback, or they could build around Darnold. Let's talk Darnold first. What would you do if you're the Jets?
I would keep Darnold, and I would try to shore up. They have a lot of picks from trades, Chris. Like they got a number of
4
picks.
First rounders.
Some what I mean, like that can change their organization if they draft correctly. So they could get some impact players who can change things. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen Darnold with the right coach yet in the right situation. It reminds me of what we saw with Jared Goff here.
But Goff
with
ain't
Steve
looking
Fisher.
like anything special anymore.
Yeah, but they went. I mean, you say that they went to the Super Bowl and they're the 5th greatest offense in the history of the NFL. He was quarterback whether they won or lost. You got to give him that, Chris. At one point, the offense was pretty damn good. Would you say that?
They had 1 year.
Okay, but
he was bad now.
He was way better than when Jeff Fisher was there. Would you agree with that?
He
looked like a bust.
There's no doubt he had a good year. He got that big contract. Go ahead.
Okay, my point was he looked like a bust with Jeff Fisher. And Sam Darnold with Adam Gase. Adam Gase is not a good coach. The Jets made a mistake. Ryan Tannehill couldn't do anything in Miami. They got rid of him. And now they're going to the playoffs every year and winning 10, 11 games in Tennessee. And he's the quarterback. So my point is, if you've seen enough and you still feel good about Darnold and think that he's an NFL quarterback in the right situation and circumstance, he could thrive. I wouldn't draft a quarterback. I would let Sam Darnold play, and I would go get me some other pieces around him.
Darnold's been there now, what, 3 years? 2 years?
I thought those 2 years.
So at some point, you're going to have to decide, is he your guy? And you're going to have to pay him. And so what I would do, I would draft a quarterback. Because we know one reason you see with these teams, if you get a good rookie quarterback, or even if it's his second year, and he's not making a lot of money, then you can put the pieces around him. So that's why I would go for Justin Fields, and I know he hadn't, and this was Darnold's 3rd year. So that's what I thought. Like, he's going to be up. I got to decide coming up here, am I going to pay him big money or am I going to let him go? Or, he's not going to get huge money, but he's going to get if he's going to be my starting quarterback, I'm going to have to pay him like $25 million a year or something like that. And so I would, rather than go ahead and play with a guy that I don't know if he's going to be the one and I want to try him out with yet another head coach. Like Jared Goff was a lot earlier into his career when he had the turnaround than Sam Darnold. And I'm with you. I'm not ready to bury Darnold, but looking at Justin Fields, and I know he didn't have the year that everybody expected him to have.
Not only that,
but he certainly had the game.
But the history of Ohio State quarterbacks isn't great. I mean, that's just a fact. A lot of those guys have failed in the NFL, and for all the winning they do in college, Chris, be it fair or not, I'm not saying that because everybody's individuals, but a lot of those guys have washed out in the NFL, and I
give you that, but the Cardell Jones, Dwayne Haskins, and you go before that with Troy. Or was it Troy Smith? Was it? And they've had some, but those guys, I didn't expect much from him, even though he won the Heisman.
I mean, the Haskins one is right in front of you. I mean, and I'm not saying that he's the same guy. Haskins is immature and got some other issues.
Right.
So I'm not going to link him to that.
Fields is more, and look, I've said it. You got to be able to throw the football. If you're going to be a running quarterback primarily, you might have a short-lived career. All right, or at least a short-lived run at being great or dominant. But he can run like a lot of the quarterbacks today. He can throw. Ask Clemson, ask Dabo running his mouth. Six touchdowns later. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I said, Chris? Before that happened, I was hoping that they would lose, right?
And I said would lose?
Clemson would lose. And I said, I would love, you know me, I'm famous for asking questions in press conferences. I would have given anything to say, them losing. I would have said, so if Ohio State's 11th, right, in the country, does that mean you're 12th? Like, are you the 12th best team? Because you just lost to the 11th best team, according to you.
Right. That would have been funny. That would have been hilarious. But I would, if I'm the Jets, Rob, I would take Fields. And I got some years now because he obviously would be on a rookie deal, not making a ton of money, relatively speaking, and build around him. I think like I said, he's got a lot of the qualities that a lot of these young quarterbacks, even a guy like Josh Allen who can sling it, he runs. He's athletic. And so I would do that. But here's the other question. We said it was the tale of two quarterbacks. What would you do with Tua? Like, to me, it's kind of ridiculous, but there are people who have said they should consider a quarterback in this draft.
I think that they should because all indications, Chris, are that they don't believe in him. And I'm just going by their actions and wasting snaps on Fitzpatrick. We talked about it. You remember when they pulled him out of that first game after he was a starter? You remember he had a great game or a good game? And then, like, 2 weeks later, they were pulling him out and trying to get Fitzpatrick in there. I was like, what is this? Like you don't do that, Chris. If you let the young guy get in there, let him learn, let him bump his head, let him have his good moments, his bad moments. That's how you grow, Chris. You can't ask. They sent you out to cover the Cavaliers game, right? And then, when it came time and the game is over, they sent in.
They let the columnist write the game.
Right, write the lead for you. Oh, you know what I mean? Like Chris.
Right,
all right, Chris, get up. Let me write the lead and whatever, and then you just fill in the quote. No, you got to write the story on deadline, right? And if you're Tua, you got to be playing. And because of the way that they've treated him, Chris, I don't believe they're all the way in. I don't know if it had anything to do with what he came at, with the injury, or if he's not grasping it or whatever it is. There's something that smells fishy in Miami, and I hate to use that analogy with Dolphins in Miami.
Right.
But I really believe that because I think that they wanted Fitzpatrick to play. You know what I mean? They did.
Well,
but he had COVID.
It is possible that they aren't all in on Tua. Because you're right. Some stuff does look, it's a little bit strange. I do believe that Brian Flores' number one goal, and everybody says this, but it's just not the case with everybody. But I do believe his goal was just to win every game. And I think, Rob, it's odd because we don't see it much. But I do think in those games, when he went to Fitzpatrick and took Tua out, I really think he was thinking, Tua doesn't have it today. It's been 3 quarters now. let's go. Let's see if Fitz
What
can
is he,
bring
a
us
starting
back.
pitcher? He don't have it
Well,
today?
I think he even used that analogy, right?
No,
like a relief pitcher.
Right.
And maybe call me naive if you want, but I really believe it in this case because obviously, I don't care if Fitzpatrick had an Aaron Rodgers season this year. You know he's not their future. He's not even your guy next year. We all know that. So the only reason they would throw him in there is, okay, Tua doesn't have it today. Let's see if Fitz can bring us back. And I don't think it was like a situation of not believing in Tua as much as it was, like you said, kind of like a relief role with a pitcher in baseball.
But my only problem is the same thing you're talking about, Chris, with Jalen Hurts leaving the guy in, right, is the reason that Tua should have been left in Miami. And that we know what Fitzpatrick
they had
is.
playoffs implications.
No, but you're playing him. But he won some games as a starter as they were going towards the play. Not like he never won a game.
Jalen?
Tua. I'm talking about Tua.
Well, here's the thing, right? They were
That's
6
what I'm
and
saying.
3 with him.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, Chris, is that they were winning.
That's why I wouldn't. So you would look at a quarterback. Because what do they have? The third pick, I believe. Ryan, check that out.
No, they have the third pick.
They got the third pick.
They have the third pick.
So you would look at a quarterback?
Absolutely. I would if I'm not buying in on Tua and all. Whenever you give snaps to a 15-year journeyman quarterback who's been on 19 teams, and I'm exaggerating, and who's never been to the playoffs, Chris, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You're not going anywhere with Fitzpumpkin. I'm telling you.
No,
it's
but
a waste of snaps.
We know he can come in a moment, though, and have a big moment. And I think that's what they were trying to capture and make the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs for like the last 4 years or so. So they wanted to see if they could get there. And if you got to throw him in relief, then so be it. I just think this is the thing, Rob, that people need to realize, okay, we see Justin Herbert now looking great. We saw Joe Burrow looking great. And we think now Kyler Murray looking really good. And Pat Mahomes steps in his second year, in his first year as a starter is the MVP. Second year wins Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, MVP, second year as a starter. But everybody's not going to develop that way. And some of these guys that look really good, they may fall off. You just mentioned Jared Goff. Nobody would have thought, after he led them to the Super Bowl, that a couple years later, we're thinking he's not the guy. Carson Wentz. Nobody would have thought when he was en route to winning the MVP that now he's getting benched. I mean, so some guys are going to start hot and falter eventually or stay hot. Other guys are going to start slowly, have to learn as they go, and it might take them a few years. I think Tua showed enough where I'm not ready to give up on him. He's got a lot of work to do, no doubt, but I'm not ready to give up on him. Let's build on that offensive line and so on and so forth. I need some better receivers. So I would keep Tua. I would definitely keep Tua.
Well, I would love to hear what people think about the Darnold. What would you do in both of these situations, Chris?
Right.
With the Jets and Darnold and with Miami and Tua.
So where you at on this? 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Your turn to weigh in.
Okay, let's kick it off with Marco in North Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marco?
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing tonight?
Great, man.
Great. How are you?
All right. Greatest show on the radio.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. I'm thinking with the Jets, you might have to look for another quarterback. Miami, with Tua, you might have to give him a little bit more time. For one, he really don't have any kind of playmakers on the outside.
Right.
And with them having the third pick in the draft, they actually might go get Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama,
might win the Heisman,
who Tua has a connection with. So that'll bring a playmaker over there. I mean, Devontae Parker, he's all right, but when you add Smith to the Miami's offense, now
look at
you
what
gotta have a
DeAndre
choice.
Hopkins did for Kyler Murray.
Right,
Yep, they
right.
didn't make the playoffs. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
Right.
Murray got hurt yesterday. They may
Right,
have made it,
right.
but they still had a good year.
Oh yeah. But I
I
just want
like
to.
your thinking. I like your
Oh
thinking.
yeah. Well, y'all have a great night, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm not buying it.
But
I'm
you're
just not
buying
there.
Darnold? My goodness.
Yes, Ham in New Jersey. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports
Ham,
Radio. What's
put
up,
Rob
Ham?
in his place.
What's up, guys?
How are
Welcome back.
you?
Chris. I'm
Thank
doing
you, my
good,
man.
I was shocked that Ham called. He's such a Chris guy. You know, he called during the holiday.
Ham's
So-
in New Jersey. I know you're not sitting here about to say, let's go with Sam Darnold.
No, I'm what? Oh,
No. I think for the Jets right now, while the Patriots are down, this is a perfect time for them to try to build their team. You know, it kind of sucks. You know, you would think that they finally get a break, but then the Buffalo Bills
Right.
turn out to be so good. With Miami, man, too. I like Brian Flores a lot, man, and I trust his gut. And I think that if he's very confident in Tua, that he'll give him more time to develop. And like you guys said earlier, with Fitzpatrick being old, I mean, you could give him some time. But this draft is going to be a nice draft for both teams, I think. You know.
only thing I'm saying is, aren't you watching the moves when they keep pulling the guy out and not letting him play and putting the? I mean, they haven't act like they've given him confidence at all.
No, the thing about it is so many young quarterbacks coming into the league, and they're good right off the bat. And with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, there's a lot of pressure on these other teams to like try to find a quarterback. It's like you either got it or you don't right away.
And I think, too, Rob, sometimes we put, like, as the media, oh, they benched him. They don't believe in him. But as a player, sometimes, I mean, some guys might take it differently. But sometimes as a player, you like, I didn't have it today. So he's in today. That's fine.
I don't believe
I don't
that.
think
I think players always think that they can get it or they can work themselves out of it and let me play.
I'm not saying they think
I don't think
they
guys
wanna
are like,
come
oh,
out.
yeah, okay, here you go.
No.
I'm not playing great.
No, I'm not saying they want to come out, but I am saying that I don't think it crushes them necessarily the way the media acts like it does. It's like when Bruce Arians was saying the stuff about Tom Brady earlier in the year and questioning him and all that. And to me, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's saying this about Brady. Brady's got to be pissed. And Brady's fine. It's like, dude, he's my coach. He can say that. Like, some guys will take it personally, but some guys are like, look, I can
everybody's
be
not the same. I think
Right.
I think
agree.
though
But I
Tua
don't
was
think
a
we should
first round
assume
pick.
that Tua's
He wasn't
like
he wasn't a
when he gets pulled out. He's a rookie.
Yeah, but I think he was a first round pick who had success in college, came from a big program. He expects to play. That's all I'm saying. Chris, I hear you. It ain't the end of the world,
Right.
If you
And
get
he
benched.
was 6-3 as a starter.
And you're just saying, dude, we're winning. Why can't I keep playing? All right, Tony in Indiana, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Tony?
Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show.
Thank you, buddy. What's up?
Awesome. I would say that as a lifelong Jets fan, Sam Darnold, who is 23, by the way, younger than Lamar Jackson.
Yes, he's young.
Deserves a chance. I mean, he's had Brian Schottenheimer, who turned into a good coordinator in Seattle, I guess, and then Adam Gase, who, I mean, all they can do is draw up a 5-yard pass. The guy has not had the benefit of having a great coordinator or offensive mind. So he definitely deserves a chance. Let's stock up on some players. And
Have you seen
They have
enough in
4
3
first-round
years?
picks.
I mean,
4.
He's
Yeah.
had some moments, but they
He can
are
throw
few and
dimes
far
all day.
between. They are few and far between. You
Nah,
gotta
but
admit that.
I've talked to a lot of people just about him as a quarterback, and Chris, they like him. They say he can play, and I'm just not ready to give up on Sam Darnold. I think it's just way too easy to just be like, oh, things aren't working out, let's go get somebody else. You don't know what that guy's going to do. That's all I'm saying.
You're not saying that because you're saying it in Miami they should do
No,
the opposite.
I'm basing the Tua stuff on how they're treating him. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you about how Fitzpatrick is a washout. I'm sorry. I wouldn't waste one snap on that guy unless my quarterback was hurt, Chris. I'm
All
dead
right,
serious.
we will talk with the Hall of Famer Rod Woodson about this very thing in a moment. But first, geez, this is the great Rod Woodson, Super Bowl champion,
Hall of
Hall of Famer. Hey, we DJ Alex Teichert is off today, so
What's happening?
He didn't inform them.
There
of the
it is.
music. There it is. A little late. Rod sounded like he wasn't coming on before the music. He like,
Hey,
yo,
Greg Jennings was mad.
Hey,
music.
I need the music. I need the music.
Greg Jennings was mad because he didn't have his Muscles song, Diana Ross's Muscles.
Really?
Yes. Happy New Year, Rod.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year's, my brother from another mother.
Yes, it's great to talk to you as always. All right, let's get right to it. Rob and I were just talking, and we talked about two quarterbacks, Sam Darnold with the Jets and Tua Tagovailoa with the Dolphins. I said I'm fine with Tua. I know he didn't have a tremendous year, but I saw enough to not be looking at drafting a quarterback, with the third pick this year. Rob said he would be looking at drafting a quarterback if he's Miami.
Only because,
then
Rod, they kept pulling him out for Fitzpatrick, so it told me that they don't really have a lot of faith in him.
Right. That's
No,
what
he's
I
a
said.
rookie. He's a rookie. He's going to learn. He has shown you spurts that he can be really, really good, right? But then as a rookie, you're inconsistent, and that's what learning the game is all about. And I keep saying this, and I've told you guys before, if everybody graded these young players like they do today with me when I came out, they would have called me a bust because I got beat like a drum when I first came out in the National Football League. And remember, I played in a Central, and the Houston Oilers were great, the Cincinnati Bengals were great, the Cleveland Browns were good, and the Steelers, we weren't that good. So, I learned. So you got to give them a chance, and I think we've seen flashes. I wouldn't take a quarterback in the draft. They have many more needs across the board that they need than quarterback. I believe that Tua is going to be a solid player for him. Does he need to be a Hall of Famer for them to win? No, but he needs to be solid, and he'll keep learning. I think he's going to be a fine player.
What about the Jets with Sam Darnold? Would you stick with him or look for a QB at number 2?
Man, the dysfunction with the Jets coaching staff. Now they look really good the last 2 weeks, right? They look a lot better the last 2 weeks, and that's because their defense played better. I mean, Frank Bush did a really good job. So you can't have these young players and think they're going to play great and they're all going to look like Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees when they're playing. It's unfair. I think they did look better as a football team the last couple weeks. So with that being said, obviously they need to keep building on their defense. They need to keep giving their offensive quarterback some weapons. Okay, tell me, what's the starting receivers for the New York Jets?
Nobody knows them. Nobody.
Exactly.
Wesley Walker, Johnny Lamb Jones.
I mean, that's who they need, though. That's who they need.
The best one they've had in a while was Robbie Anderson, who they got rid of.
And they don't even have him anymore.
Right.
So that's my point, though. They need players around him. He needs help. And I think he has a strong arm. He's athletic enough to get in and out of the pocket. He makes all the throws. He has no help. Now, when he had the help on the defensive side, they look halfway decent.
No doubt. Speaking of, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. Did he win this MVP the last couple of weeks? Finished with 8 touchdowns the last 2 games, including the big game against the Titans. I think that was the measuring stick people were looking for. Did he pull this out at the end with his play?
Yeah. I mean, he had, a total of what did he have, 50?
48 touchdowns and 6
48
picks.
touchdowns.
5 picks, 5
touchdowns.
picks.
Now, this is what I say, and it's tough. I mean, when you have 48 touchdowns, that's a lot of touchdowns. And then, I'm looking at Derrick Henry, who had over 2,000 yards, and every other running back who went over 2,000 yards won the league MVP.
Everyone? Really? Because it was 7. Okay. Wow.
It was 7. So
wow.
I'm looking at these guys. I'm looking at Derrick Henry and going, without Derrick Henry, the Titans are not where they're at. Without Aaron Rodgers, obviously, the Green Bay Packers aren't where they're at. So I think it's going to be a good battle.
I think Aaron Rodgers just played better throughout the whole year.
Right.
But going for 2,000 yards, you got to remember, it's easier to throw the football in the National Football League today than it's ever been.
Right,
But
absolutely.
it's not easier to get 2,000 yards.
You know the reason I think Aaron Rodgers has an advantage that they had the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think
He's a
that
quarterback.
helps.
Well, yeah,
He's a
they not
quarterback.
gonna give it to
All
Unfortunately, they're
quarterbacks
not
win
gonna
it.
give
I
it
mean,
to a
it's very
running back.
No,
rare.
it's turned into a quarterback award, which isn't fair, but it has. There's no doubt. It's funny
Right.
that you don't have Patrick Mahomes in the conversation at all.
No, I mean, just Patrick has to be up there over. He has to be where Aaron's at. You know, I mean, you have to throw for almost 50 touchdowns in a year with limited interceptions to be the MVP. And you know, obviously, we know how good Patrick is. We know that he's going to throw for some touchdowns. He just didn't do the same that he's done before this year. And even though he's been great, but Aaron Rodgers just played lights out in his system. And then Derrick Henry, I think that's a 1-2. I think they're going to be neck and neck, in my opinion. I think Derrick Henry should be definitely considered for the league MVP just for the fact he got 2,000 yards. Man, you put 8 in the box, and he's still straight arming everybody and getting 2,000 yards. That's a feat on its own.
Everybody, I've heard everybody's take on Philadelphia and Doug Peterson and the whole situation there with Jalen
I'm good
Hurts.
with it, Rod, just to let you know. I'm good with it.
Rod, I'm not worried about the integrity of the game. I'm certainly not worried about the Giants. I just think it was a stupid move because if I'm Philadelphia, I want to see Jalen Hurts in that situation, and can he win us the game and, see what this young rookie can do in that situation. I also think the players out there, it was a feeling like they were just giving up, so it wasn't really fair to the guys that were still playing. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, I put it this way. I was shocked that he benched Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen had 2 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, he struggled throwing the football, but that's what you want to see. You want to see, okay, does he struggle the first 3 quarters? And can he come into the fourth quarter and overcome that?
Right.
You want to see where his mindset's at. Is he the guy? Can he be that guy for us? And to me, when he pulled him like that, obviously, I have much respect for Doug and what he's accomplished as a player and as a coach. But this, and everybody else was still playing. All the other starters were still playing except that position. I would have really loved to see him stay in the game, to see where his mindset, could he overcome struggling for 3 quarters, because good quarterbacks and solid quarterbacks, your partners need to do that. They need to overcome those bad first 3 quarters and have a good solid fourth quarter if you want to win football games.
All right, that's our man, the Hall of Famer, Rod Woodson. We apologize for no theme music, man. We'll make up for it next week.
Hey, that's okay, man. Next week. Give it to me next week.
All right, brother.
You're the best.
Man.
Happy New Year to you and the
Yep.
family, Rod.